Hi, remember this game? Sorry. Lights! Hi, remember this game? Takes you back to childhood, doesn't it? We at Masco Media have tried to make a more innovative and better form of snakes and ladders. I hope this excites you as much as it excited us building it in-house. Let's go. Oh, didn't see you there. So the idea is to make two versions of the game. One, the online and PC version, and the other, the actual physical board game, which is obviously more fun to play. Now, hence we can say that under this Kickstarter campaign, we are actually proposing two different projects. So, the online version can be played by more than one person also.
Square100.com will host the applications in the game. Visit the site for all the updates, including those from Kickstarter, merchandise shipping, and other details. There will be extensive videos of the game as it's getting developed, and all the avatars of the game will also be saved on this site, Square100.com. This sequence shows multiplayer mode. Up to 4 can play at a time. There is some sort of integration built into the gameplay, which is not there in the traditional game and depends on the power-ups and in-app tools. This animation shows the Ladders Up game in an extremely flyby mode. It will be a very appealing jungle theme with all that is there in the jungle coming up here, growing as the game goes on one by one. The leaves will turn colors and very sensitive to wind. And yes, a storm can hit while the players are dicing along. This animation shows movement of snake, as the game is linked entirely to probability called the absorbing Markov chain concept, in which the probability to get a ladder or be bit by a snake is completely dependent on the square that you are on. Hence, if the snake head moves, your probability for being bit by the snake will shift, and also will be your probability of getting onto a ladder, since there is no more snake. This sequence shows the most important and interesting part of one of the levels of the game. You can see berries and flower power-ups and many more insects which will come from the growing jungle. The ladder may also shift due to a heavy storm and rain which could hit at any time. The power-ups help you to get to a higher ladder. Many new rules here, or dodge the snake. In the game, there is one more ladder than the snake, which takes care of the probability of ending the game. Here is a sequence where the snake is trying to bite a player. As explained earlier, one could have dodged the bite with power-ups. Watch the ever-growing ivy throughout the grid. Lastly, shows a special rule. If a player is 5 blocks away from the end point, then they must get the exact number on the dice, else they move back the remainder of the numbers. Like this, there are 4 more new rules that the players have to reach the square 100. Here in square 216 or 729, your choice.
3D is the flavor of the season. It is in a 3D space that you can create so much more than you can create in a 2D space. As soon as you take objects into 3D, you can play around with them. You can give them another access to roll in. And that is what gives this game a leverage of introducing new objects in the 3D space that you would not have been able to do in a 2D space in a traditional video game. The 3D game gives you a completely new space. It gives you a completely new dimension for players. And because it is networked and multiplayer, it gives you a whole lot of area to play with. A 6x6 matrix gives you 216 squares to play on a 2 dice mode or a single dice mode. And a 9x9 by 9 grid gives you 729 steps to play. So there is more leverage about what you can do within the game. The next big thing that I think, although it's packed with features and packed with things like power up, free play mode and everything like that. But one great thing that is happening in the game is that you have a huge number of candies. You know, you have a power up candy, you have a power down, you have bees stinging you. So there's a whole new dimension with the feel of the jungle, you know, bit into it, and a snakes and ladder game. The jungle theme sets the game into a mode where snakes and ladders coexist. I mean, obviously, you know, there are snakes hanging out of the trees in a jungle, and if you take the tree to be a ladder, so it's snakes and ladder, although that's not the core theme of the game. But still, the jungle is the appropriate location for the snakes and ladders, especially with the 3D coming in and the ivy, the way it grows and the way the berries come in, the fruits go and the wind comes in, the sand blows, and the various effects of weather that can be more explained and be visible in a jungle theme. A free play mode is an interesting thing in the entire game. It is one area where you come into the game where you stop interacting with the other pods in the game and you start interacting with something outside. For example, if there's an external fight which is outside the grid between a snake and a mongoose, or there is somebody who's walking into the grid like another animal or another element, and you are supposed to interact with that element and that animal or something like that, that is a free play mode. So within the free play mode, you know, you stop playing the game in terms of running the dice and you start saving the situation. There are about 15 to 20 situations which are already programmed into the grid and into the play. So if the weather comes in, or if there's a storm which comes in, or there is another, as I said, an element comes in. So one of the players can opt to go into a free play mode, and if they save the situation, they earn brownie points. The points can then later on be used as steps that they would take furthermore over and above the dice that they throw, or if they get bit by a snake, they can probably use a certain number of brownie points not to go down the snake belly, and you know, I mean, kind of win the situation. So that's the free play mode. The Ladders Up game is going to be a multi-level game. Now what we are showing you in animation and what we are showing you in the videos and talking about it here is just the basic thing that we are showing you. It is going to go up to 7 levels. Some of the levels are going to introduce virtual reality into this, so you could probably use a Google Cardboard to get the game onto your phone screen and you know, experience virtual reality, and with this animation and these colors of the jungle and things happening and the butterflies going here and there, the berries arising, fruits coming out, and you know, I mean, so you will have a lot of variety if you get into a 3D virtual space. The game is controlled by mathematical probability. One of the levels of the game it will be one in which you will have the snakes and ladders changing their positions in a certain square. So every time you are in a row where there is a snake or there's a ladder, and if the if the snake head shifts, the probability of getting bit has shifted. It has shifted not only for you, but it has shifted for the other players also in the game. Now it is the mathematical probability which defines, who's going to be on the top of the square. So it shifts. So that is a level. The other levels have more berries. They have more interesting things coming out of the jungle. The interactivity of that jungle with the berries and the pods who are playing, they define brownie points that you can gather and then later on use it. It's the same thing as a free play mode that I explained before. The rewards, designing the rewards for this game have been the most exciting part of the game, because the rewards that we are going to present to the Kickstarter backers are absolutely amazing, and they're tangible. They are not completely intangible ones. They're customizable. They speak about the game, and they also speak about, it's got their own life, so they are also merchandise, along with, obviously, it's packaged with the game and everything, but it's also interesting. You need to look at our video for rewards, which explains what rewards for what prices and how do they look, because we've designed them all together, and the entire bouquet is available. So I would say that you look at the rewards video that we have done and the various things, that are going to go up as rewards on the Ladders Up game.